Before I begin, guys, let me tell you something. You might be asking why I chose to hide my identity in this video. Well, it's because I'm actually working in a very critical part of our government. I can't elaborate more on which part of the government I am in, but let us just call it a very hush-hush operation that could possibly put my life in danger. If the people behind this channel knew which part of the government I am assigned, so yeah, for now. Just call me Lala. I am from a province part of Mindanao. Okay, so let's get back to the story. After graduating from high school, I moved to Manila and studied in one of the private universities there. My family is not well off, but we're not rich either. I took up political science and graduated summa cum laude. But during my college days was when it all started. Someone from a government agency approached me one day while I was in a busy cafeteria inside our campus. The man on his early 50s, graying but well-trimmed hair, well-mannered, and soft-spoken, approached me on my table and asked if he could join me on the table. I just nodded and smiled at the man. The man thanked me and sat down opposite me. While I was busy eating while casually peeking through my notes, he asked me if I may be interested in serving my country in any capacity other than being a civilian. At first, I don't give attention to what he said and just continue perusing my notes, but he said, "Malapit na graduation mo. Matagal na kitang sinasabaybayan. After graduation mo, punter ka dito." And then the man gave me a black calling card on top of my books and casually stood up and left. I was dumbfounded by the man's agility even with his age. I picked up the calling card and saw that it says, Elite Services, no address. Just one set of cellular contact number. I said to myself, what a recruitment strategy you have, old man. Then I put the calling card into one of my notebooks and never seen it again. After 1 week of my graduation, one Sunday morning while I am cleaning up my study table, I happened to saw again the calling card. I put it on top of my clothes for tomorrow's job interview in one of the posh companies, with a dealing on international exporting/importing side. Bukas tatawagan kita after my interview. Then right after my interview the next morning, I called the only number on that calling card. On the first ring, someone answered the phone. The soft-spoken voice on the phone said, "Alam ko tatawag ka. Di ako na walan ang pag-asa na tatawag ka." I was surprised to hear that the voice on the other end of the line seemed so sure that I am going to call that number. He said, "Come here today," and gave an address not far from where I am. I decided to just walk a merely 400 or so meters distance and look for the address he gave me. Then when in front of his door office it came to my thought, what kind of business is inside cause? The place is not that big and there's no sign age on the door and on the calling card. But nevertheless, I knock on the door 3 times and surely someone opened the door right away. It's the old man. "Halika pasok ka," the man said. I immediately entered the room and saw that there's only one table is inside this room. One set of computers and some paperworks, no landline phone, and that's it. I am becoming agitated and said to myself, "Lila ano edong napasok mo. Madalino ka pro mukong nadenjoy ka." The old man asked me to sit on a chair opposite him. I immediately asked the old man, "What's this all about?" He just smiled at me and said, "Pagkakatain mo na makapagling kod sabayan matagal na kitong hinante." He paused for a bit, then continued saying, "Lahading progress mo sa school at lahat extracurricular activities mo na sinalahan. Excellent ka lahat. Ikay matagal ang sinasabaybayan ang aming agency dahil sa iyong gakatangian is king athlete. A distance runner, top on academics and with very good on decision-making." Layla blinked his eyes, shake his head and smile, then curtly asked the old man, "All right, let's cut the BS in our head and get to reality. You are joking, right?" But still the man do not answer. After a long time, Leela not speaking up again. The old man said, "Think it over tonight, but I will give just tonight to think it over. By noon tomorrow if you're not back here then I know it's over." Layla stood up and gathered her things and walked out of the room. That night she couldn't sleep. She kept hearing what the old man said, training, combat, self-defense, gosh. All of those are her dreams, but wait, is it true? What if it is just all propaganda, then after I will be dumped somewhere dead? There is a lot of what if coming to Leela's mind. Will she come back to that office again? Stay tuned.
Layla, by strong will, decided to return at that nondescript office. Before noon the next day, she is already at the door. She just knocked once and the door opened by the old man. The old man smiled at her, asked her to sit again at the chair in front of the old man. Layla has been contemplating to ask something from the old man, information she needed to satisfy her curiosity. She even do not know the name of this man, where he works, and what parts of the government he is attached to. As in cue, the old man said to her, "Wala ako pangalan na maibibigay sayo, hindi na yun mahalaga at walang kaugnayan sa magiging bahagi mo. Bukas babalik ka dito, may taong maghihintay sayo dito, Siya ang maghahatid sa'yo sa iyong destinasyon. Mula doon magsisimula ang iyong pagsasanay. Sa buong panahon na iyon ay hindi mo na ako makikita, maliban na lamang kung makikita namin na lubos na kailangan, binabati kita. Then the day come, someone is already waiting at her downstairs by a black SUV van, a broad-shouldered man, unsmiling and eyes that never wavered. The man just opened the door of the vehicle, without a word gesture to her to get inside the vehicle, and once she is inside, the vehicle goes on its way. They traveled for about 5 hours on southerly routes. Finally, they arrived at a mountainous 50 hectares with just a stone throw away from a scout ranger's training camp. From there, Layla knew that this place is unlisted to any government or military facility. Upon arrival, Layla was briefed about the place, the security arrangement around it, all the facilities inside it. She was informed that her training will start at dawn. She will not be in contact with outside. All gadgets of her be surrendered to the custodian. And in exchange, Layla will be issued new and UN-used gadgets such as cell phone and laptops and tablets. Daily dress will be the BDU or battle dress uniform. Training will run for about a year and will be assessed weekly by the higher-up at that facility. At dawn, Layla was waken up by a burly man in fatigue uniform, without name tag and rank, asked to get ready in 10 minutes and out on parade ground on complete fatigue uniform. Exactly 15 minutes after she was waken up, a man she seen and had driven her here is the same to be her trainer today for her first induction as agent, char, spy, super soldier of kind. They run an hour hike and down the mountain trail, since she is fit as she was an athlete at the university. Days passed by and she is now accustomed to the training regiment, its hard, muscle-aching exercises and whole-body stamina enhancement exercises. Sooner Layla gets more muscle-honed and her body toned as marathoneer and swimmer. During at nights, she have night class for some academics that focus internationally and crisis management. Part also of her training is on gun training, explosives and ammunition. She was trained on every kinds thereof available in that facility. Layla get lost of track of time. Little she knew she is now almost done of her training and will soon be deployed overseas. Layla is so happy when she was informed about this and hoped to see her parent before her deployment. She will visiting first her parents in Zamboanga. Layla could not believe she had finished her training. Feels like it was just yesterday when she entered the gates of the facility. Now here she was at the briefing room, waiting for her things to be returned by the custodian. After all her belongings were collected, she was asked to wait at the briefing room. So while she was waiting, her training officer for a year entered the room. She was surprised because the woman was not in her usual uniform. She was just in casual civilian clothes. She just thought her trainer wants to see her off this facility for the last time. She smiled at her, and for the first time, the unsmiling man for the whole year she is with returned a smile to her. She noticed the man is really handsome, maybe 2 or years older than her, but you can really see the beautiful face of this man. The man approached her and offered its hand. I am Carlo Averian Santos. The smile never vanished once he had Layla's hand in his hand. Then Layla, although caught in surprise, for all the time she is here training, never, not even once she saw this man smile. And now, suddenly something inside her jolts. She was lost in thought when Carlo said to her while still holding her hand, Layla, are you okay? Boom, she was back in reality. Right in front of Carlo, she blushed. Then they sit and wait for someone to do the briefing. It does not take long. A tall, slender, old but fit man and strikingly beautiful woman in mid-40s enter the room. Without further introduction, the old man said, I am General Edgar Camo, your overall superior while you are training here, and this is Jenny Swanson Rodejo. She will be one of your handler once you're outside and deployed. Layla is now dead serious. Handlers, deployment, which meant she might be deployed overseas, but for what? The General Camo speak up again and said, This top secret confidential, what you two about to hear is for you alone and never be divulged to anyone, even to your family. If any information about you or any of this goes to wrong hand, your life will be in great danger, so listen up and listen up good. You, Layla, you will be assigned as Outer Security Threat Assessor for Ambassador Gian Ray Labay. Ambassador Labay will be assigned to Pakistan. And all kind of death threats are thrown to the ambassador for leading the investigation on nuclear waste dumping underground rivers that eventually polluted and contaminate water sources at lower part of Pakistan. The ambassador will be reassigned there to make goodwill on large population of tribes on the upper Pakistan region. You, Layla, you will not be a part of regular security cordon of the ambassador. You will be outside his ring of security, always assessing any threats and eliminating if really necessary. But it is best if you will avoid any physical contact with the local opposition. You, Layla, are only known to Carlo. He will be your sole contact aside from the ambassador, if and only if you are discovered. Since you are not part of the ambassador's known ring of security, you will be on your own, so be really careful and hope all of your training kicks in. You don't have diplomatic status, so legal aid will be absolutely nothing. Carlo, you will be the ambassador's security. You are the sole responsible for day-to-day security plan for the ambassador. You and Layla must have a direct, discreet communication with you at all times. So Layla finally understand why Carlo is here with her. She will work with him, but not directly. She will have autonomous movement independent of the Carlo's team, but she have to coordinate closely with Carlo. After more details have been taken up, Carlo and Layla are ordered to report at the ambassador's residence at Manila for final briefing. She is expecting to join him at the SUV to bring them at Manila, but she was disappointed when she saw Carlo preparing to ride on its big motorcycle, a motorcycle she always saw in a movie which big gangster always use. She was lost in thought while she is seeing Carlo getting farther, and she do not hear the driver start the vehicle and goes on their way. She was brought back to reality when she heard a call from her family. Ma, volve yo ara. Espera tu conmigo, Layla whispered in her native tongue as she stepped into the modest yet warm house she had left behind more than a year ago. The words caught in her throat. For all the months of silence, cut off from the world, from her own blood, finally, she was home. Her mother rushed to her, arms open, eyes wet. Layla embraced her tightly, burying her face against her shoulder. She inhaled the familiar scent of home, cooking spices, laundry soap, and something uniquely her mother's. She hadn't realized how much she missed it until now. Her father followed, strong but gentler than she remembered, his arms circling her with pride. Maligayang pagbabalik, anak ko, he said softly. Miss na miss ka namin dito. Her chest tightened. They had no idea where she had been, what she had endured, what she had become. To them, she was just their daughter, a young woman with a promising job in Manila. That night, they ate together in the kitchen, laughter filling the room as though no time had passed. Layla spun stories, carefully edited, about her financial analyst work, about her boss, about international meetings and long hours. Half-truths disguised as normal life. I'll try to call more often, she promised, forcing her smile to reach her eyes. But work is demanding, and soon I'll have to travel abroad again with my boss. Her mother nodded proudly, while her father patted her hand, telling her how proud they were. The guilt nearly suffocated her. Memories and shadows. Later that night, long after her parents had retired to their room, Layla wandered through the backyard. Instinct from training kicked in. She scanned the shadows, mapped the exit routes, assessed the quiet neighborhood for threats. But here, at least, there was no danger. Only safety. Only home. She returned to her old room, the poster still faintly visible on the walls, the same bed she'd slept in since high school. Lying down, memories crashed in, her sisters giggling over magazines of rock bands, her brothers endlessly teasing them, the chaos, the noise, the life of a full house. Now the silence felt heavy. Only her parents remained here, growing older with every season. Layla promised herself she would do everything to protect them, even if it meant lying. Morning routines. Before dawn, Layla was already awake. White t-shirt, running shoes, hair tied back. She stretched outside, the cool Zamboanga air filling her lungs. Her mother, peeking through the kitchen window, watched in awe. This was not the same daughter she remembered. Layla's once slender figure had hardened into muscle, her legs toned, her movements precise, controlled. Every gesture had purpose. Every step seemed trained. Anong nangyari sa anak ko? Her mother whispered to herself. But she smiled, proud and grateful. Layla jogged toward the seashore, the rhythm of her feet echoing the discipline drilled into her bones. Out there, running along the sand, she felt free. Yet, deep inside, she knew the chains of duty bound her tighter than ever. A mother's question. At lunch, laughter returned as her father shared small stories of business and community life. Layla listened, careful not to reveal the real reason she urged him to consider slowing down, because danger could lurk anywhere, and she wanted them safe, far from her secret world. Then her mother's voice pierced the moment. Layla, kailan ka ba, anak? Lalagay sa tahimik? Kailan ka mag-aasawa? Gusto namin bago kami mawala sa mundong ito, makita ka namin na maayos ang buhay mo. Layla froze, caught off guard. Heat rushed to her cheeks. She forced a laugh, waving it off. Ma, wala nga akong boyfriend? Asawa pa? They laughed with her, but deep inside, something stirred. Why don't I have someone? She thought as her mother's question lingered. I'm beautiful, strong, accomplished. But who would dare love someone like me? Where would I even meet him? She thought of Carlo, his rare smile, the steadiness in his gaze, the way his hand had lingered in hers only days ago. She shoved the thought away before it could bloom. No, she scolded herself. There's no space for love in this life. But her mother's question haunted her, and in her heart, a quiet yearning whispered back. The next day, she said goodbye to her parents, promised them she will call often, and she also called her sister Amy and urged to visit more often their parents at the airport. She board-bound to Manila. She called Carlo to say she is on the way back to Manila. Carlo's only reply is, "May sasakyan na naghihintay sa'yo dun sa parking ng lot ng airport. Ang susi ng sasakyan ay nakalagay sa ilalim ng unahang gulong, bandang kaliwa." She arrived at the airport and she went straight to the parking lot where Carlo said a vehicle is waiting. She retrieved the keys and goes on her way to Ambassador Labay residence. She was received by Ms. Chloe Faith, Ambassador Labay Chief of Staff. Ms. Chloe Faith escorted her to the office of the ambassador and asked to wait. Few minutes pass and Ms. Faith politely smiled at her and returned to her own office. It doesn't take long. The door opened and the ambassador walked in smiling, offer her a shake hands and asked her to sit down. Then the door opened again, and this time it is Carlo. Her heart skipped a beat seeing this man always unsmiling and silent. Carlo just greeted the ambassador and nodded to her. Ambassador Labay begun by saying, "Layla, tomorrow you will depart for Pakistan. You will go ahead of us by at least a week. You will establish yourself there. Someone will be there to assist you and give all you need. Cash identity equipment and a place to stay will be provided for. You cover story, you will be a representative of an international charity foundation, which will means you will travel a lot, but it is favorable to us. I hope you already briefed on my mission in Pakistan, and I will be relying to both of you with my security. There are a lot of local opposition in Pakistan wanting to bring me down, and I can't be distracted by all of these to assure the goodwill of the tribes of on the upper region in Pakistan. Please coordinate with Carlo on this matter." The ambassador offered his hand again and shake and bid her good luck and leave the room. Now that only two of them are in the room, Carlo eased up beside her. Almost just a whisper said to her, "Layla, mag-inat ka dun. Sundin mo ang lahat na preconceived plans and extraction, your daily time of reporting at pre-arranged signal of distress kung kailangan." Layla just nodded to Carlo. Then suddenly Carlo embraced her, never saying a word, just embracing her tightly. Layla is overjoyed by Carlo's action, and she almost responded by kissing him, but backed down for the last second. Then Carlo disengaged from his embrace and said, "Is there any question? Any clarification?" She was taken aback by Carlo's sudden change of mood. For a moment she is confused whether she should be afraid or be thankful that he let go of her. Still the question linger in her mind. What is this crazy feeling whenever you are near? But of course she never voiced it out. Then she left the ambassador's residence to prepare for her departure. The following day arrived. She waved goodbye to her parents who are teary-eyed seeing off their daughter. She boarded the plane with a heavy heart knowing that she will be away for months. During the flight, she kept on thinking about her mission and about Carlo. Why do I have this feeling to him? Is he married? Does he have a girlfriend? How about Layla? Does she have a boyfriend? And a million other questions that bother her young mind. Meanwhile, upon arrival in Islamabad, Pakistan, a black SUV is waiting for her at the airport. She didn't go to the assistance area nor did she entertain anyone who approached her. With luggage in tow, she directly exits the airport, No one inside the airport dare to stop her. She walks towards the waiting SUV, gets in, and introduces herself as Leah. The driver only acknowledged her by saying, "Miss Leah, Mom, we're now heading to your temporary accommodation. Rest for now and we'll discuss the details later. Miss Leah, ma'am." As she looks outside the window, she notices that there are a lot of people staring at her as if she's a celebrity. Few even take pictures of her, while some just point their fingers. But most of all, she feels the presence of eyes boring through her back. She couldn't help but shiver despite the summer season here in Pakistan. Few hours later, they arrived at her temporary accommodation. Accompanying her is the same driver and a young man who introduced himself as Omar, her fixer and translator. After settling in, Omar briefed her the plan, signal, passwords, and things to remember. He also showed her the equipment that she will use once she start her mission. At exactly 1700 hours, she contacted Carlo through the satellite phone provided to her. All he said was, "I read you loud and clear. Stay safe." That's all he said before ending the call. Will the guts to say what she feel to Carlo? Will Carlo make the first move? Abangan ang susunod na kabanata. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more updates. The moment her plane touched down, Layla's instincts screamed. She hadn't even left the airport before she felt it. Eyes on her. Predators, patient and circling. By the time her contact's vehicle pulled away from the terminal, she had already counted 3 cars alternating behind them. Too smooth, too consistent. Shadow teams. Calmly, she lowered her sunglasses, adjusted the scarf around her neck, and texted Carlo a single coded phrase, "Weather report unstable." It was the signal that she was compromised. Back at the safe house, she unpacked her gear on a worn wooden table. 1 Beretta 9mm, 15 rounds. 1 Glock 19 with suppressor. A sniper rifle, dismantled. Her hand lingered on the rifle. Too obvious. Too risky. She stripped the firing pin and swapped in a replica. A decoy. If anyone raided the safe house, they'd think they had her weapon. She left the rest, packed only her pistols, cash, and a change of clothes into a small backpack. At midnight, under a dead sky, she slipped out. Becoming a ghost. The streets were a patchwork of shadows and faint lamplight. Layla hugged the dark, moving like a phantom. 500 meters from the safe house, she hot-wired an old sedan, blending into the late-night traffic. For an hour, she drove in circles, changing lanes, letting trucks cut between her and any possible tail. Satisfied, she ditched the car in a market alley, stole a second vehicle, an old Honda Civic with the engine still running and a drunk driver inside. Carefully, she pulled him from the seat and laid him in the shadows. By dawn, she was 70 kilometers away. Cautious routine. At a gas station, she parked and locked the Civic, leaving the keys in the ignition. No CCTV cameras, she checked twice. Then she walked across to a small restaurant. Coffee, bread, a seat facing the road. She chewed slowly, eyes on every reflection in the window, every face that lingered too long. Still clean. She moved on, weaving through street vendors until she found a payphone booth. She dialed the memorized number. First ring. A woman answered. Authentication. Layla gave the coded phrase. The voice replied warmly, "Welcome back, Disney princess." Layla smiled despite herself. The nickname from training. The code name that stuck. "I left the safe house," Layla reported in Tagalog, voice low. "It's burned. Locals compromised. I'm safe for now. Reporting again in 48 hours. Sat phone off, battery removed. Tomorrow, reconnaissance begins." "Copy that, princess. Stay sharp." The line went dead. The new nest. By noon, she had found a small hotel 2 streets from a police station. A deliberate choice, close enough for cover, far enough not to raise suspicion. She paid in cash, no questions asked. Inside the dim room, she unfolded a route map of Ambassador Labay's expected travel through Pakistan. With a red marker, she circled. Choke points, sniper vantage roofs, rural stretches with no civilian cover. Every circle meant a potential kill zone. She stripped and reassembled her pistols, muscle memory flawless. The Glock with suppressor stayed on her body. The Beretta went into her bag, Finally, she lay on the stiff mattress, staring at the ceiling fan turning slowly above her. Sleep pressed at her, but her mind fought it. Not against enemies this time. Against memories. Carlo's arms around her. The unexpected warmth of his embrace. His voice, low and urgent, telling her to be careful. Her hand drifted to the empty space beside her on the bed. For a second, she imagined him there, silent, steady, watching her back like always. Layla closed her eyes, forcing herself to breathe steady. Tomorrow, the real mission begins. But tonight, in the quiet between wars, she allowed herself one dangerous thought. What if Carlo felt it too?